Star Wars 7x7 Season 2. This is episode 5, I believe. And we're going to do a bit of a reset leading up to Star Wars Celebration Japan, which is happening in a couple of weeks. Here's what we know so far about movies, TV shows, and animated projects that are coming down the pike from Lucasfilm. Punch it. Hey, Rebel Rouser. I'm Alan Voivod, and this is Star Wars 7x7, your dose of Star Wars podcast joy, and thank you so much for joining me for it. So before we begin, just a quick note to say thank you to everyone who had kind and also occasionally frustrated words about our April Fool's Day episode. It was nice to be able to continue that tradition. No, there is not going to be a special edition of Revenge of the Sith in theaters, and we are not going to get an official canon reinterpretation of Jar Jar as a Sith Lord, at least, not this year, but who knows? Anything's possible with these folks. Although I will say that George Lucas was asked in 2020 about this Darth Jar Jar theory that had been kicking around the internet, and he said, oh no, absolutely not. So yeah, I don't think they're going to override the maker on that one. But for the rest of the podcast here, it's going to stick just to the facts. So Star Wars Celebration Japan is happening in a couple of weeks, and we're going to learn a lot more about projects that are currently in development, and hopefully about some projects that we didn't know about were in development, but are going to find out about at Celebration Japan. Fingers crossed about that. But for our purposes here today, since we didn't do an episode earlier this month about what projects are in process and what we can expect from Star Wars storytelling in the coming weeks and months, I thought now would be a good time to kind of reset our expectations, find out where we stand with things. In particular, we're going to talk about movies, live action, and animated stuff and see where we're at right now. On the movie front, there's actually quite a lot in development right now, starting with The Mandalorian and Grogu. That's the movie that we are expecting to get on Memorial Day weekend next year. Supposedly, there hasn't been an official announcement about this, but supposedly principal photography is finished for The Mandalorian and Grogu. And so everything that's happening right now is post-production and eventually maybe some reshoots if that happens, which it might. These big movies these days, they tend to have reshoots now and then. So, yep, that one is definitely the first in the hopper. The second one for a good long while seemed to be the new Jedi Order Rey Skywalker movie that was announced at Celebration in, was that 2023 in London? Wow, time flies. So, yeah, that one was in production, or in pre-production, was being written and had writers come and go, and they've got a new writer on it, and it was potentially going to debut in December of 2025, but that date got pulled off the calendar. Now maybe it'll be December 2026, but it's entirely possible that Sean Levy's Star Wars movie could end up lapping it. And yes, there's been a lot of rumors going around about whether Ryan Gosling is circling the project. Is he in talks for it or whatever? We don't necessarily know. We just know that it's going to center around a particular character that Sean Levy has an affinity for, and the writing is happening right now. Beyond that, anybody's guess. There were two other movies that were announced at Celebration London. One of them was the Dawn of the Jedi-esque movie from James Mangold, and supposedly that is being written as well. Then there's the New Republic Mandoverse movie that Dave Filoni is going to be working on. Presumably that's, a year or two down the pike. In terms of him even thinking about it. Well, I mean, he's probably thinking about it right now, but he is also involved with a couple other projects that he probably has to get off his plate before he can really dig into that. And then there are the trilogies. So there's the Simon Kinberg trilogy, which was announced last year. So that is currently in some stage of development, which is going to involve new characters and appear in a different part of the Star Wars timeline. There's the Rian Johnson trilogy, which I know everyone loves to say it's not going to happen, blah, blah, blah. And so far, there's no evidence to say for sure that it's not going to happen. It's just been kicked down the curb as Rian Johnson pursues other projects. Then there's the Lando Calrissian movie that was going to be a Disney Plus series, but is now being developed as a movie by Donald Glover and his brother Stephen Glover. There's the Taika Waititi movie, which, as far as we knew, we had 2 acts written and a third act still needed to be delivered, and Kathleen Kennedy is very patiently waiting for that to arrive. And then Rogue Squadron, the Patty Jenkins movie, which was supposed to be the first of all these new movies that were going to be coming out once the Skywalker saga was done. That one seemed to go away, and then now seems to be, well, if not happening on some form of life support where it may still be in development, and just can't count it out quite yet. Now, as you can tell from all that, there's a lot going on in the movie development front. By contrast, not so much happening, as far as we know, on the live action series development front. And that does align with the stuff that we've been hearing from Disney in terms of the amount of content that they want to produce for Disney Plus and how they are looking at growing subscribers. That particular, it's almost a vanity metric, isn't it? But the fact that they are observing that movie releases going to the Disney Plus platform are driving more new subscriptions than adding new live action releases, to say nothing about the fact that it's kind of expensive for them to be producing live action stuff, comparatively speaking. So they threw all the spaghetti at the wall to get everybody that they could in the door for Disney Plus, and now they're dialing back. And so we've got the Andor series season 2, which is dropping later this month, and they are hyping the heck out of it, as they should. And then there's season 2 of Ahsoka, which hasn't been officially announced as filming, but is in fact apparently filming, according to rumors and people's Instagram posts and whatnot. And if memory serves, at a convention last year, Natasha Liu Bordizzo said that we would not likely see the Ahsoka series until after the debut of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which means that from a live action perspective, we're only going to have Andor season 2 in 2025, and then we're going to have to wait until 2026 for Ahsoka. On the animated front, late last year, we got an announcement that Star Wars Visions Volume 3 would be coming in 2025, but we didn't get a date, and we still don't have a date at this point. All we know is that they are going back to Japan for the 9 shorts that they're going to produce. I believe 4 of the shorts are being created by studios that had participated in Volume 1 of Visions, and 5 of the studios are brand new to Visions, so that's going to be exciting. Just recently, they announced a Star Wars Tales of the Underworld, so building on Tales of the Jedi and Tales of the Empire. Right now, season 3, I guess you could call it, that is Tales of the Underworld, and it is going to feature 3 shorts with Asajj Ventress and 3 shorts with Cad Bane. It's debuting on May the 4th, which I actually had to say I was a little surprised about, because then we're just getting like a crush of Star Wars content between Andor Season 2 dropping on, the 22nd, the 29th, and I think the 6th and the 13th of the other 2 dates. And then wedged right smack in the middle of that is the May 4th drop for Tales of the Underworld. So I'm surprised that they didn't push that out a little bit farther, but, there you go. And then the only other thing that we heard about way back in 2020, is that right? Goodness. Was a droid story, which was supposed to be some animated project, and we have not heard anything about that for years, unfortunately. So that's still out there kicking around too. And last but not least, Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures, which was the preschool and grade school age cartoon series for the High Republic era. That one dropped its last episodes of season 2 last month, and so far there's no word on whether there's going to be a season 3. Considering what's been going on with, the High Republic and other spaces, you kind of wonder if it's just going to continue on as a publishing initiative, right? Like all of the Acolyte tie-in novels have been announced and are coming over the course of the next, little while. But the major High Republic Phase 1, 2, and 3 initiatives are winding up. And so that right there is everything we know about Star Wars movies, about Star Wars live action series, and about Star Wars animation at the moment, and hopefully we're going to learn a lot more at Star Wars Celebration Japan in just a couple of weeks. But for now, that is going to do it for this episode of the podcast, and it just remains for me to say thank you so much for joining me for it, as always, and may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited, by their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the force be with them. All original content is copyright by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.